I believe that our civilization is at a crossroads. Either we continue destroying each other, or we make the connection that the only chance we have to see the end of terrorism is to end extreme poverty. I was born and raised on a farm in a small town in West Virginia. From my parents, I learned the value of sacrifice and hard work. And because of them, I felt a call to serve and to lead that led me to the U.S. Naval Academy. And upon graduating, I was commissioned in the U.S. Marine Corps as a platoon commander in both infantry units and also a special operations unit called Force Recon. My guys and I were deployed all around the world. After 9/11, we did counter-terrorist operations in the Horn of Africa. We assisted with the initial disaster relief operations after the tsunami in Indonesia. And in 2003, we were inserted on the front lines of combat in the Iraqi invasion. Early one morning at the start of the war, my guys and I were in a defensive position facing north. A car came tearing toward us. A man got out of the car and began sprinting. We just assumed that he was another suicide bomber. So I grabbed a couple of my guys and we began running toward him to try to get him to stop. And then I looked up and saw a large black military truck coming up behind his car. 4 guys dressed in black jump out of the truck and move to surround the vehicle. When they began spraying the vehicle with bullets, I immediately knew what was happening. Iraqi special forces had been coercing poor farmers to fight the Americans, and if they refused, they would rape and kill their wife and children. This man was coming to us for help. By the time I reached the man's car, he was cradling the blood-soaked body of his 6-year-old daughter. His wife lay dead in the passenger seat. I'll never forget the look in that man's eyes. I'd seen it before throughout the developing world, in the eyes of children who have to walk hours to fetch contaminated water for their families, in the eyes of mothers who watch their children starve because there's no food for them to eat, in the eyes of young men who have no jobs and no prospects for a better life. It is the look of extreme poverty, of sheer desperation, and desperate people do desperate things. I lower my weapon to my side, which I never do, and I begin to weep with this man. I looked up to heaven and asked God, what can I do to help end this injustice? And in that moment, I came to a realization. There are bad people in this world, and there always will be. We need our armed forces to protect us from those people. And many of my friends have sacrificed their lives to do just that. But terrorists rely on an endless supply of desperate people living in extreme poverty with no other options in life. The only chance we have to see the end of terrorism is to end extreme poverty. After 7.5 years of service, I made one of the toughest choices I had ever made in my life. To leave my platoon, to leave my guys, and pursue this vision to create an organization to help end extreme poverty. I was admitted to the Stanford Graduate School of Business. I shared my vision with my classmates and professors, and everybody wanted in. I had several classmates performing research projects. My professors volunteered their expertise, and everybody donated their own money. Some Silicon Valley venture capitalists invested seed funding, and an incredible team of extremely talented people from around the world left their jobs to start Nuru International. Nuru is a new type of humanitarian organization that partners with rural communities in the developing world and other organizations to end extreme poverty together, one community at a time. We don't do handouts. Instead, through training and empowerment, we actually equip the poor to become answers to their own problems. I believe that our civilization is at a crossroads, but from what I've seen in the early success of Nuru, we can end extreme poverty in our lifetimes and give people everywhere the opportunity to live their lives with choices.